For me, myself, to start off, I would say in certain ways, yes, we are. I think going into a professional setting, I do legal publishing, and going into a professional setting, even when starting a job, I feel like there's so many preconceptions about me, even when I walk into a room, that I therefore have to, you know, try and work against or work with.
But you know what, I've been thinking about this a lot, and in terms of like the preconceptions, do you feel like it's something in your own head, or do you think it's something other people are projecting on you?
I feel sometimes it's something in my own head, because I go in there and think, oh, I'm black, or I'll look and I'll be like, am I the only black person? I may scan the face and be like, am I the only one, first off, and then secondly, it will just be feedback from other people, maybe not so forthcoming, but they'll say little things and you're just like, okay, you've obviously taken my colour into mind. I had one instance when I was I went out for work drinks, and we were like, oh, you know, let's guess what this person's like when they're drunk, and then someone was like, oh, I bet you're aggressive and ferocious.
Oh wow.
And I was like, how? You've known me for like 2 weeks. So I was just like, no. But in my head I was like, and afterwards I thought about it, and I was saying to my friends, like, why would she come out with that? My friend was like, obviously, you know. So
it's a stereotype, definitely.
Yeah.
You're like the most soft-spoken person.
Yeah, people say, everyone that knows me, it's like, even the cab drivers, when I'm like in a rush and it's like late, the train's not working, they're like, you're so calm. I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, you're ferocious and aggressive. I was like, what? So yeah.
I think in the fashion industry, I don't know if you guys would agree, it's very difficult, and it's weird because I was having this conversation again with someone else, and we were saying that in like the legal profession or any academic kind of sector, it's kind of expected, because it's like you have to fit in a very small box, where fashion is a creative industry, but we still face the same kind of issues, the same prejudice, the same judgment.
I changed jobs. I was a manager at a mental health day centre. I did like psychology and mental health in my previous life. And then I decided to switch over into digital marketing for a fashion company. And I went to Nigeria in between the two jobs, and I got braids done, and then I was like, hold on, how is this going to be taken at my new job? How am I going to like come across? But also, how am I going to feel in that environment, being the only black girl in that environment with braids? And I didn't feel like people are looking at me. Like, you start to process all this, which is something that you shouldn't even have to think about. Hair is like a weird, like, it feels a bit like superficial, but for like us, I feel we think about it.
Identity.
Exactly.
Even if I don't have braids, my hair's curly and messy and wild, and like, you'll find I would be in the office, and when I straighten it, I'd get more compliments than when it's big and crazy and the way it is. So I really noticed that like hair is a real thing that we really have to think about for work.
I think with hair is definitely one of those, because I think you get questions like, oh, is it with your hair? And you're like, no, it's definitely my hair. But at the same time, I think I don't necessarily get angry or like frustrated at the question, because I do think if it's something that they're not necessarily used to, or they have only seen, for example, black people with only extensions, then it is understandable for them to kind of make that perception. I think you would only comment due to your experience. So I think, however, going into any environment, I don't necessarily see myself, oh my god, I'm a different colour. Or I think it's where I was raised as well. So my area was predominantly white, anyway. So it's like I've always been around that, so I don't know any different, if that makes sense. And it was only like secondary school where I was more integrated with like other races, and that was a big change for me, because I was like, oh my god, there's like other people in the world. And it wasn't like a bad thing. And I think even during the first couple of years of secondary school, I predominantly was more leaning towards like white friends and stuff because that's all I knew. And then it was only like later on in life where I started like having a bit more like black friends and stuff, because I think even like I came home once and I like invited my friend over and they were black and my parents were like, oh, you've got like a black friend. And it wasn't that they were saying it like in a racist way, but it was just because we've never not, our friends have always been like white, if that makes sense. So I've never walked into any environment feeling like, oh, am I going to be taken in this way and this way? I think it is definitely a perception that is built up in your head to a certain degree. Like I do agree with your points, and I think it all depends on like your own experience. But I do think for me personally, I think even in the creative industry, like regardless of what colour you are, like you just have to do what you do. Like everyone's in their own specific like lane, if that makes sense. So I think if you're going to be looking at other people around you more so than you would just focusing on your own, then nothing really gets in the way of your perception, you know. So
growing up, like my mum's Korean, and my hair was always a problem. Like being curly, being frizzy, that was a problem. So we need to like cream it down. We need to whatever we need to do to make it look calmer, more presentable. But like that just taught me growing up that my hair wasn't as nice as other like straight as sleeker hair. Telling my mum that, she'd be so like offended that I thought that she was trying to like diss me and everything. She'd be like, no, your hair's beautiful, we just need to like make it a bit nicer. But it's these kind of things that like we need to change in our community to support each other, to be like, no, you're amazing the way you are, go into the workplace, go into the office and be like strong, confident and everything. You're fine. There's nothing that you need to worry about in your own head. Like it's all good.
My hair naturally, like when I wash it, it goes curly. And that was because of my parents, and then their parents and their generation, they were like, if your hair is curly, like, it's just not really a good look. Like, you look like a messy child, like, and you won't like be seen like that. And I remember, like, it's still happening now, like, for example, like the older generation in my family, like, even one of the kids, like, just came out of the shower, and obviously, like, the kid was, like, 3, and a couple hours went past, and the hair's really curly, and the older generation was like, do you not need to do your hair, kind of thing. And it was weird because the moment that I had my hair curly, I remember, and I came home and Mum was like, why's your hair curly? Can you do your hair? And I was like, my hair is done. And I was like, I'm loving it.
My first job out of uni, a very big fashion company, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to embrace it. I'm going to love every minute of it. And the minute you start speaking to people, and then you hear about like their house in the countryside, and then like they go and skiing, and then like weddings in Italy. It like, when I think about it now, I could totally do all of that stuff, but it wasn't how I was raised. So immediately I just felt like, oh my god, they're better than me. And do I pretend to be like them, or should I just be myself and just be like, look, those are not my experiences, tell me more about that and I'll tell you more about my life. So for a long time I feel like I was a sponge and I was like soaking up all this information, and honestly I had to make that decision and be like, what am I going to do now? Am I just going to be completely fake to myself, or am I going to like bring them into my world? I feel like when I was in college I was the only black girl in my course, and in a way I was really myself, but on the other hand, I'd go home and I'd feel honestly exhausted. I felt like I was being fake. Like, really, I honestly felt like I was really trying to...
Like, mask off.
It's weird, it's weird because I was myself though, and like, people that were in class with me just like doing exactly the same, oh my god, you're so funny, or this or that. But like, I was suppressing a part of me, and it was eggs on the train home. I'd literally be like, okay, we're going back to the eggs now. One girl said to me, where'd you get your foundation from? And I was like,
from the same shop you get yours from.
But then at the same time, I was like, she's my friend, she's on my course, we speak every day, she's not racist, she honestly does not know. And when she goes into a shop, she's not looking at darker shades. So do you know what I'm saying? It's like you're blind to what you don't know.
But then is that really ignorance though? Because I feel like there's a fine line between being ignorant and just being stupid.
But think about it, right? She's never had to look for dark shades, so she just makes a beeline for exactly what she needs, and that's it. So I can't get angry at that. All I can do is be like, yeah, get it from the same shop as you.
It's an exposure thing as well. Like it's a bigger problem than just an individual. As you said, like, she's your friend, she's not racist. But it's an exposure thing. She's never really. We don't have like black faces on TV as much. You're not seeing them as much, so you wouldn't process and think. If you were seeing black faces on TV, you'd be like, oh, where does that girl get her foundation? You start to process it, but you're not seeing like those individuals, so you wouldn't even, you just live in your bubble and that's it.
We are supposed to see ourselves in white people, but white people can't see themselves in us. When I put pictures of other races, everyone likes it. When I put a picture of a black girl, I'm not joking, I screenshot and sent it to my friend, only black people liked it. Is it because
that's happened on big brands on Instagram that I follow. So even like the makeup ones I'll see, you know, and then they'll put like a lipstick on a darker girl, and the likes are like 128. When usually the likes are usually like 900 and something, 900,000 and something. And those are big brands like Chanel.
But those are the things that cause us to have these issues with our own heads. When we go into spaces, we feel like we don't fit in, they don't want me here. It's, you know what I mean? I'm only like here to fulfill the diversity quota. They're gonna judge me, my hair's gonna be an issue. But it's like, we're not crazy for thinking like that. We've seen it happen in real life.
When we live in a city like London, this is why sometimes I'm like, how can you be this? Because when you walk out, you're gonna see 5 to 6 different races. You're gonna see 6 different cuisines from different places. So how do you not know about these things?
It's so tough, and also like when we do go into like our workspaces, they are kind of companies or places that don't cater to black people, but we're in there working essentially to build exposure for an audience that's not us. Like, do you get what I mean? Like, I was on Instagram the other day, this woman, she's got a resort wear brand, and she was like, oh my god, I'm so lucky to have had all these bloggers wear my garments and blah blah blah. And it's like, oh, actually her company is amazing, like I'd love to work for them and blah blah blah. Went on her brand's Instagram, and as soon as I went on, like obviously I think you've seen 9 pictures first of all on Instagram, it was just 9 white girls, so I was like, okay, kept scrolling, and until the 9th of September 2016, that was the first picture of someone, and she wasn't even black, she was Indian, and she's a big blogger, so that's probably why she's there, because she's got the numbers. And I was like, how do you expect me to come into your office and work for you and feel confident and really dedicate myself to your brand when I'm not your audience, I'm not who you're targeting? Essentially, you don't even care about me. How would I feel confident in your office space? I hate when people say I don't see colour.
Oh yeah, that annoys me as well.
We are different colours. Like actually, when you go shopping, do you not see colour? Like you just pick any, like you just put your eyes. It's nothing. The fact that we are different colours because we're supposed to be. You're supposed to acknowledge it. When you say you don't see colour, that means you're running away from a conversation that you can't handle. Like, stop ignoring the differences. Well, once you accept that there are differences, I don't want you to become tolerant, I just want you to integrate in your life. Because tolerance means I'm just accepting you. And like, it's tolerance forever. Yeah, exactly. You could tolerate someone for like 30 minutes. It's not full acceptance. I don't tolerate me. Accept and understand that there are differences, and that's just how life is. Simple. My life is different to yours. Like, the whole I don't see colour thing.
Do you think also like the current climate where since even Brexit, everything, everyone's just more vocal about their ignorances. Everyone just feels comfortable with spewing these stupid opinions. And just like, how?
It stresses me so much. I just don't understand people's ignorance, and but it's, you just live in a bubble. The whole it's genuinely good. The whole world is going really, really like nationalist. Everyone's like, no, everyone stay in your lane, you stay there, I stay here, nobody mix and match. And I'm like, do you not like know where you're from? Like, this island in itself has been invaded by Denmark, by like Germany. Take out the blood test, watch it. I'm sure you've got fish in there. Like, you've got a whole mix in there. So the fact that you're not even like conscious of that, and you think that your family have just been born on this land for how many? Are you stupid? I don't understand.
No, it's so upsetting. Like, all of a sudden now it's kind of cool to be like black. It's cool to be associated with anything.
To a certain level, though, do you find that there's a stop button? And they're like, yeah, this is so cool, but like us, like listening to your music and wearing your clothes and your style, that's cool, but you've been doing some time, but we don't want to like pay attention to that. There's like a stop button, like we don't go past that.
I always say that black culture's in fashion now.
It always has been, I think. I think it's
but
always
so not now. But then don't get excited. It's in fashion, it's not accepted. Fashion trends pass. So I feel like it's gonna pass.
You think
and a lot,
it will pass.
Because it's at a heightened level now. Like it's everything to do with how I grew up is now high fashion, or it's like really accepted. Even like you know, like gold hair clips that like when you had extensions growing up. Urban Outfitters sell it for £12. It's
I'm sorry, £1 from the
things that literally you'd have to like go to Streatham or like Tottenham to see. Now it's like on the high street. It's weird. I don't know.
Like for us, like being black was kind of, or anything associated with being black was just kind of unacceptable. Like it was unacceptable to have big lips. It was unacceptable to have curly hair, to have big bums. Like it was unacceptable to be aggressive, all of that. But now it's just so normal. And like, I don't know like how I feel about that. Like for so long you've kind of put me down. I remember when Zara first showed their black model in one of their lookbooks. And then like everyone started following as well. So then you had like Mango and things like that. Like Topshop and ASOS, they've been doing it for a while now. But brands like Zara and Mango, where before you would never see.
They're Spanish, right?
They're Spanish, exactly. So you'll never like see like a black face like in their campaign. It was just unheard of. And now they're doing it, and I'm just thinking, are you doing it because you finally acknowledged us, or are you doing it because it's just a trend? It's trendy to have a black girl in your lookbook.
I'm so happy to celebrate black culture because it should be celebrated. Our culture is amazing. We're sick, like, it's so fun. Like it should be celebrated, but it's the way that you're celebrating it. Like when we're still
without us.
Yeah, without us. Exactly. Like praising.
It's like we're having a party over there.
Yeah, that's like about me. So it's like.
Our culture as well. Some of the problems that we do face is the fact that we don't support each other enough.
Yeah.
So it's like that whole crab in a bucket, that down thing. So when someone's at the top, we don't want to give them our full support. We'll find the pettiest things. I do it sometimes. I'll even laugh and be like, I love my football because we can take the piss out of anything, even in the worst situations. But sometimes it's just like give someone a break. Support the person rather than pull them down.
I've thought about this so much because I love Beyonce, like literally run up with Beyonce. When people say like, yeah, exactly. When people say things about her, like I genuinely take it really like, literally don't stop my day like this. But like Jay-Z, Oprah, these are people that are like killing it in like for like representing for everybody, but representing black community, like making serious money. Just think like, there's so few of us at the top. Like we've got to be like pushing them and wrecking them wherever we go, and not trying to bring them down. But I've thought about it, and I think maybe it's a mentality, because maybe it's something that's been drummed into us from generations that we're not good enough. So anybody at the top had to fake their way there, had to sleep their way there.
It's like, oh, she thinks she's so good, so we're gonna be.
Exactly.
And I think even if you watch like Oprah, like majority of her audience is like different race. So it's like she might even be sitting there like, okay, this is quite like sad. I feel like I've done so much, but but whereas like, why is my audience filled with like one race kind of thing?
Guys, are we really angry or are we just passionate?
Definitely passionate.
Yeah, I think our culture, like we're so expressive. We love colour, we love music. We're just like
in our various cultures as well, because like
it's not just one.
We don't have what
absolutely. And like with that, I don't know if people know how to respond to that. I mean, if you're a quiet person, someone's really loud around you. Not everybody's like that. I'm very quiet, but sometimes people feel intimidated. They don't know how to like handle that. So they respond to it. So they like categorize you as angry. Like no.
All black girls are just so like angry because you've had that one experience. I think you should just like talk about that experience. You shouldn't really like class the whole race in like that category. So I think a lot of people do that. It's like they've had one experience and they think the whole culture or the whole
stereotypes,
like race is like that. So I think you should just judge people for like that one individual.
I always support black people, but I have a higher expectation for them.
I feel like you have every right to, because I feel like as a black woman it's upsetting, but we have to work twice as hard. So you cannot afford to be lazy at all. You cannot afford to slack.
Exactly.
So you do have every right.
Like you're one person, but you're representing everyone.
Yeah.
You actually
And I feel like people already have their expectations as well. Like they expect you to be lazy. They expect you not to care about what you're doing. So you kind of need to prove them wrong by working harder than they work, and it's upsetting, but it's reality. That's
it's a reality. At the end of the day, let's be real, this is not our country. We were all born here and we were whatever, but what are we, like 3% or something of the population? We are a minority, let's be real. And sometimes I feel like we forget that. I go to Ghana and I literally see black excellence. I see black millionaires, billionaires. I see people driving the best, and I come back and I'm like, wow. We have a long way to go in this country, like a really, really long way to go. So I feel like we all just need to step up and stay up. Like, do you know, be who you want to be in your house. As soon as you leave your front door, you're representing all of us. That's that's what I think.
Not all black girls like pepper or black people. I don't like peppery food. And I think and I think they expect us to like peppery food, and that's not always the case. That's number one for me.
What would you not say?
I would say not all black people are loud, because I definitely am not at all. I'm very quiet, quite soft-spoken. I'm sure of myself, but I'm not loud. I don't need to shout to get my points across.
I'm a black girl, and I feel that we're more than our hair. Like, it's more than just weave or just having natural hair, curly, straight. There's so much more to us than just that.
I would say not all black people like chicken or even love chicken, because I particularly don't, and like a lot of people I know don't. I don't know where that started from. Maybe because it's like the cheapest poultry, so I don't know.
Not all black girls look like Naomi Campbell as well. They all have different shades.
You're like a supermodel.
But you know when people say that to me, it actually really annoys me.
What, Naomi Campbell?
Yeah, like, oh my god, you look like Naomi Campbell.
But do you know what, when I was growing up, people always used to ask me, what do you want to be when you're older? And I always said Naomi Campbell. And I was confused for a long time because I thought I wanted to be a model, but I can't control it. The left leg is better than the right leg. But I realised that I just wanted to be a black woman in fashion that was powerful, accepted and recognised.
See, that's nice.
And now I have actually put it all together. But I was confused because she's the only one I could see.
But when I'm saying that, you look like Naomi Campbell because they're too lazy to actually recognise that we have completely we don't all look like realise that we have different features. Like not every tall black girl with long hair looks the same.
That's so true.
That's what my issue is.
Black or white or whichever colour, I think everyone needs to accept each other, and that's how change will come.